everyone involved. And an
Yeah.
employer has to work harder to accept that to have people with a disability in the workplace, there are some things that may need to be done. And the employee has to be willing to provide time and knowledge and assistance to that employer to allow that to become a comfortable and safe place for them.
Yeah. And especially with the way like the market is now, it's not getting any easier. And to lose out on a great candidate because of something that wouldn't necessarily impact their ability to do the job, but just require some additional support. I mean, again, companies all over the place are, doing all these different things to build great cultures. And I think that's just like, a small piece of it, of just, again, having to figure out. And I mean, like you said, hopefully it continues to change, but it shouldn't be this thing that's maybe as hard as it was 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. I mean, the other thing that came to mind when you're speaking to that situation, and I think like maybe social media is a bit of like a part of the problem as much as it can be part of the solution, but is those one-off far outlying like situations that come across. And you talked about other marginalized groups, the LGBTQ community, all these different like, I guess, groups of people who have had issues, and whether it's individuals seeing somebody who's been addressed with the wrong pronouns, or called somebody like the wrong thing, or said something wrong to somebody who's disabled and had that blow up in social media. We only ever see like the worst case videos and the best case videos, and the best case obviously ones are the ones that are going to like help curve the behavior and see things, but those worst case ones also potentially can give fear, where it's like, okay, here's somebody and they're with somebody, and maybe I just talk to that person, and if I do and I don't screw up, then like I won't get in any problems. And it's like, I think it just maybe comes down to a bit more obviously education and trying to figure out like how to deal with those situations, especially if you're a customer facing frontline individual. That probably then goes back to that culture piece, that training piece on the employer to make sure, hey, these are things that you may be dealt with, and this is our mandate. Like, treat everybody as equal. And if you do come across somebody who potentially looks like they could be part of like the LGBTQ community, or whether they do or don't, this is how we address people, and we don't necessarily use pronouns in this way. And if you're dealing with somebody who presents with any form of like physical disability, like, again, it doesn't matter, this is literally the same way we should be addressing everybody. Like, there's got to be something that like employers can do, especially if you got people that are in those situations, to avoid exactly what you experience. Because I think that just goes down to like a training and education piece, and that is probably more on like society as a whole, and on like the employers to make sure that they're being inclusive, which is why, again, a company like you has someone like you in the role to make sure that they're doing just that.
Well, and the interesting piece is that when you're looking at potential candidates and things like that, think about what a person who is in a marginalized group has already had to go through just to get to the interview.
Yeah.
So if you take somebody with a physical disability, me on a really good day, it will take me probably 20 to 25% more energy to perform every single task I do in a day. So that means that in an 8-hour workday, for me, that is the equivalent of a 10.5-hour workday. If
Right.
it takes me an hour to get ready in the morning, someone else could do that in 30, 40 minutes. So when someone has put in the effort and the desire and is willing to, in some cases, deplete their energy bank to get in front of you today, the one thing I ask of every employer is, don't devalue the effort that that individual has put in to become an equally skilled and equally eligible candidate for that role. And if we
100%.
talk about having loyalty and hiring for long term, well, I can tell you that the people that I know and the people that I've spoke to with disabilities, they just want to be given that chance.
Right. Yeah.
And
100%.
I can tell you that if you give them that opportunity and they feel that you have seen them and that you respect them and you value them and they are viewed as not as a person with a disability, but the best person for the job,
Yeah.
who do you think is going to work harder every day and get up and get to work to do the best possible job?
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
when you look at it, companies should be actively trying to recruit and support those underrepresented groups that really deserve to have an equal place within the job market.